Have you ever found yourself stuck trying to use a computed property in Vue.js, only to be met with confusion and frustration? If that's you, you're in the right place. Today, we're diving into how to properly use computed properties in your Vue instance. I totally get it. It can be really annoying when your computed properties don't behave as expected. You're not alone in this struggle. Many developers face similar issues when working with Vue.js. Let's look at the specific question at hand. One user asked, how can I use a computed property in the data or emit it via bus? They shared their Vue instance, mentioning that their computed property is always undefined, while another data property works just fine. Sound familiar? Let's explore this together. So what's going wrong here? The issue arises because computed properties are not available until after the Vue instance has been fully created. This means you can't directly reference a computed property in the data function. Let's break this down step by step. And stick around. I have a great tip at the end that will help you avoid this issue in the future and make your Vue.js coding smoother. To address the issue with the computed property, the user should first understand that computed properties are not available during the initialization of the data function. Instead, they are evaluated after the instance is created. Next, the user should define the computed property correctly and access it within the Vue instance lifecycle. This can be done by using the created lifecycle hook to set the initial value of myComputed. Now let's modify the Vue instance. The user should remove the direct assignment of myComputed in the data function and instead initialize it as an empty string or null. Finally, the user should ensure that myComputed is updated whenever computed data changes. This will allow myComputed to reflect the value of computed data correctly. Fun fact, Vue.js was created by a former Google engineer, Evan You, who wanted to build a framework that was approachable and flexible. And look at how far it has come. Now let's look at the answers provided by other users. This user suggests that computed properties are already accessible in the template using double curly braces. Instead of trying to assign a computed property to data, they recommend using a watcher to handle changes. Now, let's shift our focus to a different response. This user suggests that computed properties should be defined within the computed section, not in data. They recommend modifying your code to place myComputed inside computed, allowing it to reactively reference computed data. They emphasize that data does not behave like computed properties. Even if you change the component creation timing, data will only capture the initial computed value and won't update afterward. Let's take a look at another answer from another user. An alternative approach suggested by another user is to work directly with the computed function. They recommend removing the unnecessary data property and simply using the computed property in your template. That's it for that response. Let's explore another one. An alternative approach suggests simplifying your code. Instead of trying to define a computed property within the data function, you can directly declare it in the computed section. This way, myComputed will be accessible just like any data property in your template. Now, let's see a response from a different user. This user points out that computed properties are not available when data is initialized. To set a data property based on a computed property, they suggest using the created hook. This allows you to set the data once the computed property is ready. Additionally, if you're working with vModel, the user recommends using the value binding and event listeners like change or keyup to manage data updates. This way, the computed property can react to changes in the input field. Here's the tip I promised. Always remember to access computed properties directly in your methods or lifecycle hooks. This simple habit can save you a lot of headaches down the road. And there you have it. You should now have a clearer understanding of how to use computed properties in Vue.js. Remember, practice makes perfect. If you found this video helpful, hit that subscribe button for more tips, and don't miss our next video where we tackle more Vue.js challenges.